Hello and welcome to another video on my little fries. So I thought I'd do a bit of an update video so you can see how they're going on. And today we're going to clean out this tank so I can show you a bit of the muck that goes on in this tank, because there is well too many fish in it. So I've just upset them a little bit now because I've just turned the main light back on, that's why it's really bright, but doesn't really affect the one fish that's kind of sociable, maybe two fish that are kind of sociable. If I put a little bit of food in, they might come up. Always need a bit of encouragement. So yeah, they're doing really well. Quite pleased with them. Still can't believe how many fish there is in this tank. A couple of weeks ago I had a little bit of problem with the parameters on this tank getting a little bit high, ammonia and such. So what I've done to combat that is I've increased the trittle of fresh water into this tank, so it now gets a water change every 2 or 3 days instead of every week, which is really seriously helping the water quality. It's absolutely spot on again and not a problem. But obviously the fish produce a lot of waste still, and because of how this tank's sort of set up, it's kind of a problem. So what I'll be doing is, in this bottom drain here, which you can't quite see for fish, there's actually not that much current. Oh, there's a dead one in the bottom. Have a look at that. There's not that much current flowing to the drum filter, so a lot of the muck settles in that bottom drain, and it also settles in the drum filter as well. I could do with putting a little bit more pressure on it, more water flow, but unfortunately that would just send the fry in a constant sort of spiral around the tank. So it's sort of a balance between, you know, too much water flow and not enough. So it just kind of means that its current volume of water flow I need to clean it all out every sort of fortnight, or it starts to block the pipe to the drum filter. And we'll see that in a bit when I siphon it out. It gets kind of bad. So yeah, they've all come up now and a bit happier with a bit of food, although I only give them a right little bit. So let's get on with cleaning them. So then, where do we start with the cleaning process? Well, we start at the drum filter. So the first thing to do is just have a look. I've turned the UV light off, so that's not blinding me. As you can see, there's quite a lot of muck in there, and the air's still on, so I'm going to turn the air off like so, and then I can see further down into the tank. In fact, let me just get a torch. You can see there's quite a lot of muck in there settled. It's really bad today actually. I have been feeding them like absolute crazy lately, so yeah, I guess it's bad. And the drum filter's sort of blocking up as well a little bit. As you can see, it's not sort of going through enough cleaning cycles to clean it properly. But the clean side of the drum's pretty clean, so that's a good start. And then, so what I'm going to be doing is turning the pump off. So let's get on with that. So because this pump's got this remote, all I do is turn it off like so. So that's the pump off, and then the water level in here should come up. And what I can do, in fact you can see the muck back flowing a little bit because it's coming from the river. So there's a bit of muck in the pipework, which we'll get out later. So what I'm going to do is turn the valve off so no fish can get into the drum when I take the cover off of the bottom drain. So let's get to that. So I've took the lid off the tank, which actually you can see them a lot better, and it's upset them all except for the one slightly sociable fish just here. You can see him if I move out. He's a lovely little lad. So yeah, you can see them a lot better now. Look at the size, and some of them are massive. But I do actually think if there weren't so many in this tank, some of them would have grown a lot better than they have. And I was hoping there would be a lot fewer, and or they'd be able to move into my other tank, but I'm just unable to do that at the minute. But for now they're fine in here. But I'll wait till it warms up outside a little bit. There we go, got it. Before I start up my other tank. There's a pain, that thing. There we go. Now you can see all the muck in there is kind of as bad as the drum filter. And what we've got to do now is suck that out and try not to suck any fish up. So you can see it's pretty mucky in there. That sort of little hole at the back, if you could see for the fish, is where the actual pipe work goes to the drum filter. So yeah, let's get pulling that water out of there. So here we are outside. So this is a two-man job. One person has to start the siphon and the other person has to vac the pond. There we go, starting the siphon. So you can see what sort of stuff comes out in it. It does smell bad, actually. Not yet, you'll see when it will smell bad. It's going! There we go. Now we're pulling up some muck. Makes the grass grow pretty well. Wow, it does smell bad today. Right, let's go and have a look at the other end. There we go, looks a lot better now, all that muck's cleaning out. And yes, we have sucked up a couple of fish doing this before. Usually they just end up on the grass. And chuck them back in tank, it don't really bother them at all. Probably don't do them any favours like, but the ones we sucked up are totally fine now because I actually put them in the other tank in the house. So there we go, that's that cleaned out, and now we've got to quickly get that back on before any fish sort of go down that hole. Come on. Come on. There we go, I think we managed it. So I've just caught that little fish that were on the bottom that I thought were dead. Popped him in there, as you can see, he's not very happy. He is one of the last bent fish. You might remember in my other video I mentioned that some of them were bent. They didn't usually last more than a week before either the other fish attacked them that much that they died or something like that. But he's still alive. I don't think he's living particularly well, you know, because he was sat on the bottom a minute ago. But when I caught him he woke up a bit. I'm just going to put him back in because, you know, I don't particularly know what else to do with him. And you can see how he's bent and that, but you know, some of them do quite well. I've got one bent fish in my indoor tank still, and he seems to be quite a happy fish really. It's just unsightly, I guess, to see him like that. But yeah, now they've spread out a bit, you can see them all quite well. Could do some sort of underwater camera or something. Some of the fish in this tank are probably pushing about 4, maybe even 5 inches in some cases, with 1 or 2 of them. It's really hard to tell, because mostly you just see the macroscopic ones, which there are, to be honest, a few. But there are some really big ones sort of lurking that you spot every now and then. I can't wait to sort of get them all out and sort through them and see them all in a measuring bowl and see what we can find. But probably a month or so's time when that happens, when it warms up. So here we are in the basement. So this pipe's going to do exactly the same as the other pipe did. We're siphoning it out of the tank and dropping it into this well here. So I'm going to get on with siphoning it. There you go. There you go, that's the water siphoning out of the drum filter. So it can basically just hoover the muck out at the bottom. It's easier that way. Also, I mean, I don't really want the fish falling into here in case we do suck them up, but I think eventually I might do this sort of method with the other one. but you can see some of that muck comes out. Yeah. So we don't pull the water out of the tank into here because I want to use that 1-inch pipe and it isn't long enough. And wow, it smells a bit as well, it's putting me off. And if we suck any fish up, I don't want them going in this tank. I'd rather them just be on the grass where I can pick them up. And that. But yeah, you get a good idea of all the muck that sort of comes out. It's already sort of made a mess of my well water. But there you go, that's that. Right, so we've drained the drum filter. You can see it's a little bit cleaner now, the screen's a bit cleaner. So what we've done really is just drain it with siphon, cleaned it out, and then just gone around it with hose pipe and cleaned it up. It's a pretty simple task. I only have to do that on this tank because the water flow doesn't flow through it fast enough really. I've basically do no cleaning at all on my main pond's drum, and I do a little bit of cleaning on the other quarantine tank's drum, mostly because I think having having a lot of fish in a quarantine tank, you're going to have to do a bit of maintenance on your drum, but it's not so much of a problem with main pond because it's got the flow rate it requires and it's not really got the high stocking levels of fish compared to tank size. Right, so now what we do is we open up the valve from the bottom drain like that, and then we get to see loads more muck come through. Yeah, not horrendous actually. Have a look, a bit closer look. Yeah, it's not as bad as I thought. I thought it might have been worse than that. Well, it's not flowing particularly fast, so that might be a sign of things to come. So there we go, let's let that fill up and then I'll put the pump back on. Right then, so we've filled up a little bit in the drum filter. It's not all the way up, it's taking its time to come up for some reason, but what I'm doing now is put the pump back on, which will obviously get the pump running. I'll keep it on slow so we can start it off neatly, and then I don't think we're going to start up, are we? Right, so that's the pump back on. That's the other drum filter. You can see it's just filled up slowly. So what I'm going to do now is, let's zoom out a little, turn the pump speed to maximum, like so, and then this will make that nice crystal clear water all murky because it'll kick all the muck out of the pipelines, both the bottom drain and what settles in this river. There we go. Also the water level's a bit low looking at that, that's why the drum weren't filling up particularly fast. So this will get everything pumping. Let's turn the water up to fill the tank. There we go, it's got the tank filling up. It's pumping. Let's have a look in here, it's running lovely. You can see a bit of muck's coming out that's in the bottom of the drum filter. So a bit of muck that settles underneath, work its way through its system. Eventually it'll get to the other side of the drum filter. And if I just keep it at this really high speed for a bit, then eventually we'll clean all pipe work out and we'll have less problem with any issues later on. So now it's getting close to the outlet. I'll run the drum filter. Let's run the drum filter before the pump runs out of water. Turn automatic off. Let's see. There we go. That's the pump back in the water. See what comes through. Wow, the water level's really low. Lid down again. Right, so basically what I'm going to do is keep repeating this process for probably about 10 minutes every time it backs up. You can see the water filling up under there. You can see how it's getting murkier because it's kicking all muck out at pipeline. You'll find that happens with every pond, not just this one. There'll always be muck in your pipelines, and having a variable pump just means that you can kick all that muck out, whereas having a non-variable pump just means you can't. So that's really the only difference. In fact, I'll probably show you that in another video, because that's what I do with my other quarantine tank. I use a really powerful pump to make sure I suck everything out of the line. So, right, I'll get on me when So here we are, all back to normal. The fish are happy again, wanting feeding, and the water's clearing up. They are ferocious little fishes. And I must feed them like that about 10 times a day. They eat an enormous amount of food, it's fantastic. Which is obviously why the drum filter gets mucky like that every fortnight. But it's one of them things. So after a while it actually cleaned its sin up quite nicely. We kept the pump on full speed. You can see the UV lights on now, so I won't look at that too much. And everything in here is pretty clean. This is the muck we've got out since. And the drum itself is all nice and clean, looking well. And then again, we'll be doing that all again in a fortnight. So, there you go. That's sort of the maintenance I do on that drum. And then this drum, which is for my main pond, I haven't even bothered to lift it in quite a long time. In fact, quite an interesting thing, so I actually wanted to know what sort of pressure these drum filters ran at, so I recently added these gauges. And if I turn this drum on manually, like so, you'll be able to see that the pressure the pump gives off is about 44 psi, something like that. So not too bad, a little bit more than tap water could produce. Tap water with no load on it, it's about 50 psi here, but if I'd run the drum on it, which I actually did, connect the tap mains water supply straight to this to see what it could get, it got to about 38 psi. So the pump does a little bit better pressure than mains water. So pretty pleased with that. So there we go. That's an update on the little fry. If you like this video, then please like it. If you want to see more videos like this, then please feel free to subscribe. If you've got any questions or comments, then please put them down below, and I shall see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.